In Dying Light the Beast, we wanted to create a world that feels rich, alive, and full of different places to explore. The map offers a wide range of environments, from lively town to dense forest, steep hills, riverbanks, swamps, farmlands, and even an old industrial park. Our amazing team of artists spent countless of hours handcrafting the detailed and immersive world of Castor Woods. The town is built on a slopey terrain, which really makes it different from the areas of Villador and Dying Light to Stay Human. We wanted to make sure that the environment feels dense and diverse. In this video, I would like to invite you on a quick tour of some of the places you'll visit in the game. I will focus on how the game looks, but rest assured, each of those district environments also shape and change the gameplay experience. And let's start with the tourist town of Castor Woods. It was once a lively, busy place surrounded by beautiful mountains, forests, and stunning national park. People used to come here to relax, go skiing, and enjoy the nature. This type of landscape is very close to our hearts because some of us come from similar charming towns located in mountains, so we took inspiration from what we know and love. As you walk through the old town, you'll find abandoned restaurants, pubs, city facilities, or souvenir shops, all explorable with their own hidden stories. From the town, tourists could easily venture into the nearby national park. This vast forested area is filled with breathtaking viewpoints and rock formations inspired by real-world Table Mountains National Park in Poland. You'll come across mountain lodges, picnic areas, and the park ranger's headquarters. Tourism was the heart of Castor Woods, but not its only industry. Let's head over to the industrial park. Several factories once operated here, providing jobs to the local community. Even though some were abandoned before the pandemic, buildings, silos, warehouses, and production hall still stand. They offer fantastic opportunities for exploration, looting, and parkour. Like many towns built around the turn of the 20th century near factories, worker houses was constructed nearby. Simple residential blocks surrounded by playgrounds, grocery stores, and green spaces for recreation. Another key area of Castor Woods is the farmlands, inspired by traditional European countryside. Here, residents produced and sold local specialties to visiting tourists. Although this area is now partially flooded, you can still see how carefully crafted each farmhouse and its surroundings are. Then there's the historic Villa District with its unique architecture, where Castor Woods' wealthiest residents lived. You'll also find few hotels, guest houses, and restaurants here. Every home has a unique garden and small details that hint who used to live there. Of course, there's so much more waiting for you to discover. I am incredibly excited about the many small stories that we packed into every corner of Dying Light the Beast.
In the next few minutes, I am going to take you through some of the changes and innovations we have made with weapons in this game, and why they are a key part of your journey through Castor Woods. In Dying Light the Beast, we wanted to take everything we've learned from designing weapons in the franchise and elevate it further. While playing, you'll still come across familiar weapons, from the trusty machete to the heavy two-handed weapons that players know and love. But we also wanted to push beyond that. We still focus mainly on melee weapons, but firearms are one of the distinct elements from the game. They are more present than ever before, introduced earlier and with greater variety. However, you need to be cautious. The noise from firearms can attract more infected, so use them wisely. Survival is at the heart of Dying Light the Beast, and that philosophy is reflected in how we designed and distributed weapons. Melee weapons have durability, and if you use them too much, they will break. However, you can repair them directly through the weapon wheel or inventory, provided you have the necessary resources. Lower rare weapons tend to break more often, but are cheaper to repair, while higher-end weapons last longer but require more resources to maintain. As you explore, you will encounter what we call opportunity weapons, everyday items people once used for regular tasks that are now repurposed for survival. Whether it's an old pipe or a farm fork, these are the types of weapons you'll start with, reinforcing the survivalist experience. But the best weapons are the ones you'll find through exploration. Castor Woods is full of hidden gems. Whether it's a dark zone containing a valuable weapon, or a dangerous encounter with Baronmans guarding key areas. We wanted to make sure players get early exposure to a variety of weapon types, giving them the chance to choose a playstyle that works best for them. We wanted to reward players who venture off the beaten path, showing them that in a world full of danger, taking risks can lead to great rewards. Additionally, we have added new weapon types that have never been seen in the franchise, like the powerful grenade launcher. This weapon is incredibly versatile, letting you use various types of grenades to adapt to different situations. Assuming you've explored enough to gather resources you need for crafting them, but I am totally in love with our new flamethrower. Not only it does look incredible, thanks to all the detail our artists and animators put into it, but it's also one of the best weapons for crowd control. Ammunition for it can be a bit scarce, but I use it all the time when I'm surrounded or need to clear out a room full of infected. It's incredibly satisfying.
close. Stay here. Stand guard. On me. Bloody hell.
Every man has an animal within. If you push too much, you might unleash the beast.
Dying Light the Beast is poised to be one of the most anticipated horror action releases of the decade. A bold and visceral standalone survival horror action adventure from Techland that has grown far beyond its original scope. Initially envisioned as a piece of DLC for Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the project expanded during development into a fully fledged, large-scale title worthy of standing on its own. Scheduled to launch on September 19, 2025, the game will arrive first on Windows PC via Steam and the Epic Games Store, as well as on PlayStation 5, including full PS5 Pro enhancements, and Xbox Series X/S, with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One editions following later in the year. For longtime fans, the biggest headline is the long-awaited return of Kyle Crane, the beloved protagonist from the original Dying Light, whose fate was left uncertain until now. In The Beast, we finally learn that Crane has been held captive for years, subjected to relentless and horrifying experiments by a shadowy, sadistic figure known only as the Baron. This mysterious antagonist rules Castor Woods from the shadows, his influence stretching through both the infected and the terrified remnants of humanity. When Crane finally breaks free, the stage is set for a revenge-driven odyssey that fuses emotional storytelling with brutal, heart-pounding gameplay. The world of Castor Woods is unlike anything seen in the series before, an expansive, open-world environment steeped in mystery, dread, and rural horror aesthetics, drawing inspiration from iconic settings like Twin Peaks and classic folk horror cinema. The game's world is a haunting blend of dense, whispering forests, dilapidated farmsteads, abandoned lumber mills, fog-choked valleys, and hidden underground laboratories where the Baron's experiments continue to fester. Every corner of the map feels alive with danger, whether from shambling infected, hostile human factions, or the ever-present threat of the Baron's watchful eye. Players can move seamlessly between exploring on foot through first-person parkour, Techland's hallmark movement system, and tearing across rugged terrain in a heavily modified 4x4 vehicle designed for both speed and survival. Combat has been given a major overhaul to match the game's darker tone. Melee remains satisfyingly crunchy, with every swing, stab, and smash animated with brutal precision, while firearms offer a deadly but resource-limited alternative. The game's dynamic day-night cycle returns, transforming the world after dusk as the infected grow faster, more aggressive, and far more numerous. pushing players to adapt their strategies or risk being overwhelmed. One of the game's defining new features is Beast Mode, a temporary state of overwhelming strength and speed that Crane can tap into after building enough adrenaline in combat. Activating Beast Mode allows him to tear through enemies with his bare hands, crush skulls with a single blow, hurl enemies through walls or into environmental hazards, and use raw force to manipulate objects in the world, turning the environment itself into a weapon. Yet this power comes with a price. Weapons and vehicles remain deliberately fragile, requiring careful use and maintenance, reinforcing the constant sense of vulnerability and forcing players to make tough decisions in the heat of battle. Visually, the Beast pushes Techland's proprietary engine to new heights. The improved gore and dismemberment system now shows disturbingly precise flesh and limb damage, adding an unsettling layer of realism to every fight. Enemies stagger, flinch, and react dynamically to where they're hit, creating a far more immersive and horrifying combat experience. Lighting and weather systems work hand in hand with the game's unsettling art direction. One moment you're running through a sunlit meadow. The next you're enveloped in a suffocating mist as the sun dips behind the mountains, shadows stretching and shapes moving in the fog. While the series has been known for its open-ended freedom, The Beast takes a more narrative-focused approach, weaving a tightly paced, cinematic campaign filled with emotional highs, devastating losses, and moments of quiet reflection that contrast against the chaos of survival. That said, exploration is still richly rewarded, with hidden caches, side missions, and lore scattered across Castor Woods that deepen the game's unsettling backstory. Cooperative play is fully supported, allowing up to 4 players to experience the entire campaign together, share resources, and coordinate parkour-chained attacks or daring nighttime raids. Now you can enjoy the screenshots without any interruption. Enjoy!